Perfect. We are recording now, correct? Give me a head shake at the council office. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. We're here for the regular council meeting of December 6th. We will do a quick row of introductions and then get right into it. So we have with you Councillor Janine Boulanger.
Morning, everybody.
Councillor Jason Bondarchuk.
Good morning.
Councillor Joel Lemoine.
Hey, everybody.
Councillor Shane Pelletier.
Good morning.
We have our CEO Mitch Duval.
Morning.
And we, in the background, I believe our Assistant CEO Dominic Lemoine and Planner Tanya Waddell. So without further ado, we will get everything started. Item number 1, meeting call to order. Oh, sorry, and this is all online, so council will just be turning off their microphones and voting online. So sorry, item 1, meeting call to order. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lemoine, second. Councillor Bondarchuk, thank you. Any comments, questions? No, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? It's carried. Thank you. Is council, we'll open the meeting at 9:03 a.m. Is council getting any delays or anything? I'm wondering if we should be saying A or nay. You guys are all okay?
I'm okay.
Okay,
I'm okay. Good here.
Okay. Yeah, because we're not, sorry, Mitch, to delay this. We're not voting on the platform like we usually do, correct?
Correct. Well,
Yeah.
it's up to you guys, but I think the two newbies don't know how to do that yet.
Yeah.
We'll teach them.
Yeah, okay. I'm okay doing it yay or nay or raising hands. Okay. Item 2, adoption of the agenda. Do I have a mover?
Councillor Pelletier.
Thank you. Second. Councillor Boulanger, thank you. Any edits or changes to the agenda? Anything want to move around, council? No. Okay, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Thank you. That's carried. Item 3, adoption of the minutes. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lemoine, second. Councillor Boulanger, thank you.
Last regular meeting was held November 16th, whereby council passed a resolution regarding signing authorities. Council also went through some public hearings regarding a variation, a conditional use, and a rezoning that has been tabled to this morning. Council also gave second and third reading to the new water and sewer rates, so administration will get that up and running for 2023. Council also passed first readings for the following bylaws: the list of committees, procedural bylaw, and residential capital fees. Council also passed 2 subdivisions and a few daycare resolutions relating to the John Keefield.
Thank you. Council, anything to comment on? Any edits? No, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Item 4.1, accounts paid to be approved. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bondarchuk, second.
Councillor Pelletier.
Thank you.
We have 2 batches, batch 16657, the amount of 9,602, and then another batch, number 16667, in the amount of $260,800. For that last batch, the 26800, that's basically a check that was done for the Grand Point clubhouse, as far as ISIP funding and transfer of funds in and out to get that project hopefully wrapped up by year end, if we could get the money from the ISIP program.
Thank you. Council, do you have any comments or questions on this?
None here.
No?
None.
Okay, I'll call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
That's carried. Thank you. Item 4.2, accounts not paid to be approved. Do I have a mover? Councillor Boulanger, second. Councillor Lemoine, thank you.
Three batches, a tax refund for 364, EFTs for 2,800, and the big batch 16679 in the amount of 538,000 plus. The summary report for that one is self-explanatory. The big chunk there is the payment for the tanker, which is we will be receiving that on Wednesday, tomorrow, in the amount of $356,000.
Perfect. Thank you, council. Anything to comment on? No, I'll call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
That's carried. Thank you. 4.3 payroll to be approved. Do I have a mover? Councillor Pelletier, second. Councillor Bodnar. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I think we missed one.
Did we?
Indemnities.
Can I use the same movers and seconders for the indemnities?
Sorry, guys, I don't, what number is that?
5.2.1.
You're calling out 4.1 and 4.2. I wonder if you've got the wrong agenda.
Well, maybe I do here.
Because we're at 5. All of these are 5.1, 5.2.
Oh, sorry, guys. Yeah, I was on the wrong agenda. It didn't load, just load it up for me now. Okay, sorry. 5.2.1 council indemnities. Mr. CEO, you've made all those corrections that the fair mayor here has screwed up on. Thank you. 5.2.1 council indemnities. Do I have a mover? Mover. Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Lemoine, thank you.
Okay, so for council indemnities for the month of November, ranging from 12 hours to 18 hours for the council members. Also included in there is a conference AMM for about 2.5 days. So those have been paid out except for Councillor Bodnar, which I'm still working on. So hopefully we'll have resolution to that today.
Perfect. Thank you. Any comments from council? Okay, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. 5.3 payroll to be approved. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lemoine, second. Councillor Pelletier.
Payroll number 23 from November 6th to the 19th. Some overtime payout on the public works side, likely for snow purposes. Other than that, nothing to report.
Thank you. Any comments from council? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Thank you. Pardon me. And moving on to public hearings. So we will go to 6.1.1 bylaw 13 2022 second reading, continued public hearing from November 16th.
So what I'll do at this point, I'll turn it over to our planning person, Tanya, to do some explanations here as to what's going on, and then we'll proceed accordingly.
Okay, so this bylaw was given first reading on October 19th, and it was felt that the outside lot of the development would fit more with an RG8 zoning. So we held a public hearing based on the RG8 zoning, but council had some concerns about that. So the public hearing was adjourned. And this public hearing is, because no changes were made at that public hearing, this public hearing is regarding RG8 zoning for those, the north, east, and south lots. If we do wish to make any changes to that to revert it to RG5 zoning, then what we will have to do is adjourn this public hearing again and hold another public hearing on November 16th on the change itself. December 21st, sorry, November 16th. December 21st.
The original application was for an RG5, and why it came forward as an RG8 is beyond me. I must have missed something at the planning hearing at some point. But if an application comes in for an
Zoom
on the applicant, we
How do I
need
shuffle?
to.
How do I see everybody?
If I go there, then I'll be.
Sorry, 1 second there, Mr. CEO. Here. Okay, go ahead.
So basically, the application from the applicant was an RG5, and somehow it got reverted to an RG8, which should not have been done. We should have had the public hearing as an RG5. So I don't know what happened there, but I know towards the tail end of the public hearing on November 16th, the applicant on behalf of the applicant, Candace, did say that they had not applied for an RG8, which made me question what was going on. So, based on that, right now, we're at an RG8 based on the public notices we've been given. But the application is RG5. So I think at this point, we reopen the hearing based on an RG8 discussion. And I'm not sure if Candace is online or not, to discuss, but have we communicated that with her?
Yes, I did speak to her about the application and the process and what will be happening.
And she was okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, so that would be my recommendation, is to reopen it as an RG8, because that's what we left it off as, and continue from there.
So the confusion here is all those lots are RG8 in size. And I wanted them to stay in those square footage dimensions. The problem is with the RG8, that also means the duplexes don't need a conditional use, which is not the intent. And because the first thing Candace had spoke was, oh, we could do duplexes all the way around, then I was looking for an option to turn off that availability, which is why we're here today.
Okay. So again, I would say, let's open the public hearing. Have any feedback from whoever is online or in the council chambers, which is nobody, and then close the hearing
Adjourn the
or adjourn the hearing, depending on how you guys want to go about it. Clear as mud?
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it, to be quite honest, but Councillor Pelletier, your area, you're okay with that?
Well, this is based off of what we got from legal to do, to be able to block any duplexes that weren't originally asked for. So this is just going based off of what legal has provided to Tanya, and this is the direction Tanya said that we should go in.
Okay. Well, then let's do it. So, Mr. Ciola, I need to reopen the public hearing at 9:15 a.m.
And I guess you go through the motions of asking those for in favor
Yeah.
of the current reading and all that good stuff that you're used to.
Okay, is there anyone online or on the phone wishing to speak in favor of the current reading? Anyone in person wishing to speak in favor?
There's nobody in person?
Okay. Anyone wishing to speak against online or on the phone? Anyone in person? You said there's no one in person, and there was still an objection received, correct? No other objections?
Correct, the original objection from, I believe, Cindy Neal.
Council's okay with not reviewing it again, as we've heard it once already in the first? Yeah, okay,
Yeah, good here.
thank you. One
At this
final
point-
call. Go ahead, Mr. Steele.
Okay, go ahead.
One final call. Anyone wishing to make any comments online, in person, or on the phone, speak in favor or against, or any general questions? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing at, no, timeout. Okay,
So if council wishes to change anything, then it's recommended again to suspend the public hearing. And if not, if we want to continue with the RG8 zone, then we could close the hearing and proceed with second and third reading, correct?
Correct.
Council, what would you like to see?
I just have a clarification. So RG8, they do need a conditional use to do duplex?
No.
They don't need a conditional use to do duplex. Okay. So what I'm seeing is that this isn't really what we want. Just because from Councillor Palche's comment about it allows those to go up all the way around.
That would be correct.
Okay, thank you.
So are we suspending this and then redoing it with an RG5 in the, as the original ask was?
That's
would.
what I was asking you, Council.
Yes.
Yeah, so Councillor Pelletier, you'd like to see it suspended?
Yeah.
Okay, we will keep the public hearing open until Wednesday, December 21st, correct, Mr. CEO?
Correct.
At
And with the intention that we will be proceeding with the modification to the bylaw from an RG8 to an RG5 zone.
Perfect, thank
that.
you.
So
West, eastern, east.
I'm confused because this was supposed to be all worked out already. Like, why is this still being done like this?
Because the notices that were sent out were for an RG8 zone. And we understand what that means. It means that multifamily, two-family would be a permitted use. And it seems like council does not want that permitted use. They want some kind of oversight. So
So,
therefore, we would have to revert it to an RG5, which then makes the multifamily a conditional use process. Even though the lots are oversized for an RG5, that's well permitted. I think the second fear was that if we go to an RG5 and the lots are oversized, then the applicant may come back and make an application to subdivide those larger lots and make it fit into an RG5 zone
Correct.
to smaller lots.
I think
But
what,
then
I think what Councillor Pelletier is asking though is, oh, what's the reason for delay again? And I think the answer is we need to send out notices again, right, Mr. CEO?
Correct, because
Yeah,
If we suspend, sorry.
not if we suspend. If we suspend, there's no need to send out notices because we're doing it right here, right now via live public hearing process.
And
Oh,
the
then I'm
reason we
ju-
have
right.
hearing is because the decision wasn't made to change it on the last hearing. It was just made to discuss
Suspend
it
it.
more.
I'm just as confused then as Councillor Pelletier because I thought that's what the first suspension was for.
This would have been way easier just to have canceled the first public hearing and sent new notices out.
Yeah.
Because
Neither
we would
here-
have been finishing it here today.
Yeah. Well, neither here nor there, I guess we have no choice, so I guess we'll be suspending it. Councillor Pelletier, you're okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so, we'll keep it open until this, what did I say, December 21st at 7 PM.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to 7.1 delegations, we have Mr. Justin from ONBAM. Is he with us?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
So thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Thank you to all of council, Mr. CEO as well. I'm joined this morning by delegates Monsieur Legal and Monsieur Tetro from the Association of Manitoba Bilingual Municipalities. So the AMBM, just to clarify, is that political and strategic voice representing Manitoba municipalities that have adopted bylaws to offer services, deliver services in both official languages. And we also advocate and develop the tools to build up our communities, including and specifically our official language minority communities on our territory. So this morning, we'd like to present to Council our progress on a specific project called the Municipal Maturity Model. This Municipal Maturity Model is a framework designed to enhance municipal service delivery in both official languages, including in the RM of Ritchot as an AMBM member. And we have 3 global objectives with this Municipal Maturity Model as a tool for our members. Firstly, measure and track progress in terms of service delivery in both official languages, build capacity, but also align our bylaw structure and framework at the municipal level, align that with the provincial and federal legislative frameworks to access additional funding in matters relating to official languages. So Mr. Tatro will be providing a brief background overview of this project, and following that, Mr. Legal will provide a technical review of the tools we built around the maturity model, including the proposed bylaw enhancing the delivery of services in both official languages and its schedule. So I'll pass it on to Mr. Tatro.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor, council members, and everyone else. It's a pleasure to be as a delegation in front of council this morning. I'm giving you a slight history, if you will, of the AMBM and how why this 3M came about. The AMBM was structured back in 1993-94. It was incorporated in 1995, and the RM of Ritchot has been a member since the mid-90s, pretty much. The AMBM is, to be a member of the AMBM back in 1995, a municipality wishing to be a member needed to adopt a bylaw, bilingual services bylaw. And in this bylaw, there was stipulation as to what bilingual services the RM would be able to provide to the constituents, and also stuff as bilingual signage, bilingual communications, etc. Those bylaws were formulated way back in 1993-94, and they were pretty much cookie cutter bylaws. And maybe the CAO can correct me, but I think the Ritchot bylaw dates back to 1995 when Ritchot became a member, which is that original cookie cutter bylaw that is somewhat stringent and difficult nowadays for our member municipalities to totally respect in terms of what is stipulated in the bylaw. With regards to that, then, the AMBM provides a number of services and provides either funding or other kinds of resources to help the municipal members in providing those services or economic development, etc., other things like that. And in order to provide those resources, the AMBM needs to is funded by the federal government and the provincial government, and they need to report, and they need to negotiate these funding agreements on a 5-year basis. At the last, if you will, negotiation for funding to the AMBM and to its members, it was deemed that these bylaws were probably needed to be reevaluated and looked at in order to help municipal members provide and better respect, or if I say better respect, but in order to help RMs respect those bylaws. So what was done is we provided a consulting process. We met with CAOs. We did a web-based survey. We met with the AMBM boards, and we came up with a new model for a bylaw model for our member municipalities, which I will now, this model, Donald Legal will quickly try and go over the large picture of what this new bylaw we're proposing is. And if I could, I will pass on the microphone.
That's great. Thanks, Louis. Thank you, Council. We're very grateful for the time you've given us this morning. So I will get straight to the point. The bylaw does three things. That is, you're committing to three things by adopting this bylaw. And I'll refer you to this document, the bilingual side-by-side version. If you have it, that's great. If not, then I'm happy to read it for you. So the first two commitments you'd be making would be very simple and I think would entail very little additional work. In fact, next to no additional work for you. The first commitment is to publishing your minutes in French and English, and that's at section 4 for those of you who'd like to follow with the document. Section 4 says the minutes of each regular meeting of council shall be kept in English and French and shall be printed and published in English and French within 30 days of the regular meeting. Now, as far as publication goes, I believe that your website is already completely bilingual, so publication on the website would be a simple matter. As far as translation goes, the AMBM provides that service to, I believe, all of its members. And if Richard wanted to join along, I don't think that that would be very difficult. I'll let Justin speak to that, but that seems to be a simple enough matter. So minutes, bilingual, very little additional work for you. The second matter is bylaws published in French and English at section 5 of the bylaw. And again, that's a simple matter. That's the type of service that's already being provided by the AMBM to its member municipalities. So sections 4 and sections 5, the first two commitments would entail next to no work for you. The third commitment would take a little more work, but it would be contingent upon the AMBM providing financing, providing funding for that to take place. So the third commitment is this. You would be reviewing your RM's performance in providing French services on 20 different criteria. And again, that's in one of the documents. I won't bore you with the details, and I think I'm running out of time anyway. But you'd be assessing yourself on 20 separate criteria on a scale of 0 to 3. Now, 0 doesn't mean failure and 3 is not perfection. 0 simply means that you are not providing services in that specific area. 3 means that you are providing the type of service that your citizens would expect of an RM that claims to provide services in French in that area. And then there would be in between levels 1, 2, which would be the transition phase. Now, when you're going through that initial assessment using this grid, you may find that today on indicator 1, you're currently at level 0. You may not have turned your attention to that matter at all. So you may be 0 today, and then we would go down the list. You may find that you are 3 on another indicator. Your advertising may already be bilingual, so you may be a 2 or 3 on that. So once we've gone through the 20 criteria, you would then set targets for next year. Where would you like to be next year? Now, you may be at a level 2 on one of those indicators this year, and you may say, well, we're happy to stay at level 2. We think that's a fine level of service. So we would target 2 next year. On another indicator, you may be at level 1, and you may say, well, we'd like to try to get to 2 by next year. And again, 0, 1, 2, and 3 are defined in one of the documents that Justin's provided to you already. So that, as you might understand, would entail a little more work, but thankfully, section 7 of the bylaw says that you would only be committing to that once the AMBM confirms its support in terms of human and financial resources for the implementation of the municipal bilingualism maturity model. So that is the bylaw in a nutshell, and I think I'll turn it over to Justin to provide the details. I don't think we can hear you.
You're
Justin.
muted there, Justin.
Sorry about that, folks. Thanks, Donald. And so just to wrap up, because I do want to respect everyone's time here. I just want to go back to section 7 with regards to that contingency or that condition. When it comes down to it, our member municipalities are not getting their fair share in matching funding for official language service delivery at this point in time. I'll just give you an example. Through Louis Tétrault's consultation period in 2020 and 2021, we figured that from 2020 to 2025, our rural bilingual municipalities are estimated to invest about $5 million in French language services. Now, that is a modest number because we didn't go line by line in every member municipality to identify what services are being given or what services impact the Francophone local community. That being said, that $5 million invested in our bilingual municipalities in rural Manitoba isn't being matched by any other order of government, the provincial or federal governments. Whereas the provincial government gets funding equalized to their own investments, if not more, on a 5-year basis. So with this structure, this framework, this new framework at the municipal level, we're hoping in the long term that we'll be able to get our fair share of funding and at least get matching funding for what is already being invested in municipal service delivery in both official languages. And so that is one of the strategic objectives through this new framework and this new bylaw being proposed moving forward. In the short term, however, we are advancing and we are negotiating with the provincial government specifically to ensure that there is a coordination body that can help our member municipalities fill in their action plan and fill in the grid Donat has briefly presented to us this morning. So our objective here is for municipalities to have the accompaniment and support needed to ensure that they're complying with this new bylaw, specifically in terms of section 7. So we do not want our member municipalities to be doing this alone, and we wouldn't expect it. We want to support our member municipalities along the way to get that job done and be able to feed that information and make that information useful for the next steps in terms of negotiating with the provincial and federal government. So I'll leave it there. I'm hoping that was clear enough.
Thank you very much, Justin and company. I'll open up. Council, do you have any questions or comments you wanted to ask before we let them go? Yeah, Councilor Lemon.
Just to clarify, so the grading system here to determine the 1, 2s, and 3s are done by the municipality itself, or who would determine the grading system?
Yeah, well, that's right. The AMBM would hire someone to help coach the municipality.
Okay.
That person would sit down with the CAO, presumably, possibly council members as well, and they would go through the work of setting the grid, which would be very difficult, I think, for anyone to do it on his own, on her own. But I think with some assistance with that that person who would be provided by the AMBM, I think it would be a much simpler exercise.
Okay, gotcha.
Thank you. Anything else from council?
Nothing here.
No. Okay, merci, Justin. I appreciate your time, and we will definitely bring it to a council decision.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And just for information, our objective right now is to present the 3M to all members, and our time frame is now until the end of winter. And so our hopes is that our members are in a position to take decisions with regards to this new framework by next spring. So just to give you an idea of the time frame. That being said, we're open and to having discussions with regards to specifics in terms of the bylaw moving forward. So please don't hesitate to contact us if there's any specific questions or comments with regards to this new framework being proposed.
Perfect. Well, because it's Manitoba, winter never ends, so we have a lot of time. So thanks for that. Awesome. Thanks a lot, you guys.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you later at the AGM. Bye-bye.
Yes, for sure.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to 8.1 bylaw 14, 2022, organizational established committee, second reading. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bodnarchuk, second. Councillor Belanger.
So council, we've met, discussed the organization committees established. We gave that first reading. If council is all good with this, then we'll give it second and third. And then we've already started to communicate preliminarily with outside committees to let them know who will be their representatives. So once council proceeds with third bylaw, we'll confirm that with all the groups.
Thank you. I'll open up for council discussion. Council, do you have anything to add? Any changes you'd like to make? Councillor Belanger?
Speaking with Councillor Pelche yesterday, LaSalle Redboyne Watershed District notes both of us as being members, but it's our understanding that I am to just be the alternate. Is that correct?
Sorry, there was some mumbling going on there. Which ward, the red?
I don't mumble. LaSalle Redboyne.
I heard you very clearly, Councillor Belanger.
Thank you.
Anything else from council while they make the adjustments?
Just one other comment in regarding when the committees are notified, because our email addresses stay the same, like Ward 1 at Richot, Ward 2, etc. I think it might be a little confusing for the committee boards to distinguish members. For example, Jason Bodnarchuk was getting emails from a committee, and I know things haven't changed 100%, but just wondering if our emails being Ward 1, Ward 2 is a little misleading when people are sending information out because they don't know if Shane is part of it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's easy. Well, I don't know. I've always liked the idea of not having our names attached to it because it's a council email, it's a mayor's email, but I mean, that's a discussion council can have if they'd rather see their name on it, by all means.
No, that's not where I was kind of going with that. I just want to make sure that when they're notified of the change in membership to the boards, that the names are attached in notifications. That's all. So they have a record. And you might be doing that already, Mr. CEO. I was just making note because it did come up in one committee. That's all.
Also for just in 2020 for the LaSalle, Redboyne, and the St. Rat River, they didn't have alternates. Both names were underneath those groups or committees, and it was not indicated as an alternate.
Oh.
So that's something we just for information.
That's
that's
fine.
I think what we'll do is we'll reach out to the St. Rat, Roseau, and the LaSalle Redboyne to see do they need one member or two members, and basically just adjust the bylaw accordingly. If only one, then we'll assign Councillor Pelche to both, and yourself, Councillor Belanger, as alternate. But if they require two members, then it is what it is. You'll be both appointed to the board.
Yeah, I also think they have a sub-district, right? So I don't know if they assign one councillor to one district and another to the other. So that might also be the reason, but I can certainly follow up with them and see if you prefer to just have one for everything, I can certainly check.
That's how the Seine Rat River was that got, I don't know how the South is, but they have sub-districts so that each of us are on different sub-districts. So I'm pretty sure they'll probably want to keep that. I'm not saying I don't want to be on it. I'm just saying that, just wanted to clarify it. That's all.
Okay, I'll check with this guy.
Okay, thank
Same
you.
with Red River Weed Control is the same thing. There's two of us, but it doesn't say if one's alternate or not. That's me and Janine again.
I
I
think
think that
both
one
have
is-
always been.
Both of us?
Yeah, past council, I think they both went.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Anything else? Nope. Okay, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? It's carried. Thank you. 8.1.1 bylaw 14, 2022 organizational and established committees, third reading. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bondarchuk, second. Councillor Pelletier.
No changes.
No changes. Final call from council, nothing. Okay, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. 8.2 bylaw 15, 2022 procedural bylaw, second reading. Do I have a mover?
Councillor Blanche.
Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Pelletier, thank you.
Okay, first reading was given. I think the big change there was for the July and August meetings to be moved at 7 o'clock, not 5:30, and only the one for July and August. Otherwise, I think the rest stayed pretty much the same.
Thank you. Okay, I'll open up for council discussion. Council, any changes? Comments? Done here. I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. 8.3 bylaw 15, 2022 procedural bylaw, third reading. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bondarchuk, second. Councillor Lemoine, thank you. Final calls, final comments. Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. 8.4 bylaw 16, 2022 residential and utility capital fees, second reading. Do I have a mover? Councillor Pelletier, second. Councillor Belanger.
I think the only thing that we needed to decide, we are doing it for 3 years, for 23, 24, 25. We've omitted 26. I think that would still be my recommendation, not to go to a 4-year rate, but a 3-year rate. And then again, the increase from 22 to 23, I believe, is 2.8%, and that includes a $500 charge for the water meters, and then after that, I believe it's a 5% increase for 24 and 25.
Thank you, council. I'll open up for discussion. Nothing. Okay,
Nothing here.
I will call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Item 8.5 bylaw 16, 2022 residential and utility capital fees, 23-25, third reading. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lemoine, second. Councillor Pelletier, thank you. Final thoughts? Being none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Item 8.6 bylaw 13, 2022, second reading.
Not applicable as
Not
well as
applicable.
the public hearing has been submitted.
Right, not applicable, not applicable. Moving on to new and other business, 9.1.1, Public Works Assuming Infrastructure, North Grassy Properties, Phase 4. Do I have a mover? Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Pelletier.
As a result of phase 4 being completed, Public Works did their rounds. We're ready to assume subdivision responsibilities for the services on that portion, and to release the letter of credit of $913,000 plus related to that phase.
Thank you. I'll open up for council discussion. Council, anything to comment on?
I'm here.
No? Okay, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. 9.2.1 emergency manual updates. Do I have a mover? Councillor Pelche, second. Councillor Bodnar, thank you.
On a yearly basis, the municipality is to update the emergency manual that we have. Our EMO coordinator, Harold Schlamp, has done that, especially with, as a result of a flood event in the spring of 2022. So I put in there for you folks in the shared notes, basically, minor changes regarding what was done to the plan. A lot of it is just phone contact information, communication plans, evacuation, re-entry stuff. So minor changes in details as per our emergency coordinator.
Thank you. Council, do you have any comments, notes? No, seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. And last but not least, adjournment. Do I have a mover? Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Lemoine, thank you. Final comments. Call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. I'll close the meeting at 9:49 a.m. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great day. Please stop recording.